If I can find a mute button. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another marvelous episode of the latest and greatest sports news. And today I got some very special guests with me. I got the living legend, Mr. Robert Brown of WTP Sports News. How you doing this evening, sir?
I'm feeling good post game. Thanks for having me this evening. I didn't get to get on Tuesday, so I'm looking forward to it tonight.
For sure, man. And I got my homie of Level Up Sports 10, Moss Berg. How you doing this evening, homie?
Man, I'm thankful, blessed, man. Enjoying the day off work. It's been a crazy day in this heat, man. Spent some time with my daughter, man, who's going to the ninth grade today. So, just soaking up this summertime, man, and enjoying as much as I can, and ready to be doing what we do best, man. And I'm thankful for you to have me as well this evening. And it's good to see Unk in the building as well.
No doubt about that. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, whichever channel you watching this live from. These are some of the finest sports analysts you'll find across YouTube.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, it's starting to heat up, fellas. It is hot outside. I know if it's hot here, it's pretty much the same thing in Ohio. Um, but a lot of action around the sports world. We got the NBA playoffs kicking off. We got some big NFL trades to talk about. And somebody might be coming out of retirement, but we'll save that later. Let's kick it off with some NBA action. Rob, I'm
Yes,
gonna start
sir.
with you. The Knicks beat the Spurs in game one, 105-95. What did you see in this game?
What I saw was that, man, the Knicks understood that they probably could have an advantage in the pick and roll game with the big guy Towns being a little bit more physical than what Wimby is with Brunson. And I think they used that to their ability a lot in game one and was able to steal that first game. But for the Spurs to not have Harper on the court more than they had DeAndre Fox, I thought was a big mistake by the Spurs. So I think in game two, they'll probably do something different from the Spurs' point of view. But I really like the way the Knicks went to what they thought they had an advantage with, and they worked it to a T, and they were able to get that game one victory. So kudos to the Knicks. Still in one in game one because we felt like if they're going to win this series, they got to steal one of these first two games. And it happened in the
Yeah.
first game, which is usually how it goes if somebody needs to steal one on somebody else's court.
Yeah.
Do you I like when you watch the game, do you think these teams are evenly matched now that you got to see game one? Or do you still think the Spurs have the overwhelming talent advantage?
I think they're I think in terms of the bench and the players, the Spurs got more of those. But I think the Knicks, in terms of both of their starting fives and the first few guys off the bench, is relatively even. I think the Spurs got more bodies they can throw at the Knicks. But you talk about the first seven players, it's relatively even, man, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Mossberg, the Knicks beat the Spurs in game one, 105-95. What did you see in this game?
I seen the continuance as we talked about, man. We've been talking about this Jalen Brunson takeover. And as Unc said, this Knicks team is, they had to still win. And they statistically played the Spurs. 6 out of the 8 key stats, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage. When you talk about assists, steals, turnovers, they won the battles in those statistical categories. Those are key factors when you want to steal a game one. When you want to steal a game on the road, you have to play up to those standards. And they did that. They hit big shots, as we seen OG and we seen Brunson do late moments in this game. So I think, for me, this Knicks team we just spoke on the phone not too long ago. They're scary after really watching them in this first game. And as Unc said, Spurs is deep, but that first seven of the Knicks is dangerous because you could rotate those two that come off the bench and put them in as starters. And that gives the Spurs a different way to come at them on the defensive side and try to figure out their matchups. So I think right now the Knicks are in a great chess match. And they say it's the king of New York. And right now they got that piece that's making things happen in Brunson and that team as well.
Yeah, man, some great points as always, fellas. I mean,
Appreciate it.
I picked the Knicks in game one. I picked the Knicks to win this series. Some of the things I pointed out was how big of a factor Carl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson had to be. Wemby's
Yeah.
learning that this isn't Chet in those Oklahoma City centers. I think the drop back free safety position that we're used to seeing Wemby play during these playoffs has to be switched up. Like I think
Yeah.
can get away with that with a team like Oklahoma City, but a team like the Knicks, where Carl Anthony Towns, we saw him driving to the basket, being physical. That was a very physical ball game. You have to
Yeah.
switch up your game plan. I understand he's a great. You can use him as a free safety, but against this Knicks team, I don't think that's the best strategy, especially when Carl Anthony Towns is on the floor. And my man
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, I don't think the Knicks their supporting cast had their best game. I definitely think Hart was huge. I think Brunson, man, late in the fourth quarter, being that closer, he was dynamic. And I knew coming in Brunson was a great player, but to do it on this stage, man, in the NBA Finals with everything on the line, and you take over like that in the fourth quarter. Normally in
Yeah.
basketball, the guy who can take over like that in the last 3, 4, 5 minutes of the game, that symbolizes the best player on the court. So it was a
Yeah.
really interesting match. I want to see game. I'm fiending for game two already, fellas. I want to see what adjustments the Spurs make, and if the Knicks continue can they go up 2-0 on the road in San Antonio. You might want to get them brooms. I'm just saying, Mike.
Man.
Y'all got anything else on this? No.
What's your thoughts on that one, Unc? What's your thoughts on that? I just think when you speak on that going up 2-0, when you speak on the brooms, we gotta think, man, when the Knicks won game two against Philly, that anthem dropped. Once that anthem dropped, it's been a hit. And the Knicks feel it, the whole city, the whole state. I think the whole world feels that anthem. And I think when you have the Knicks in San Antonio, it felt like the Garden watching that game. That's the crazy thing. When you travel on the road in the playoffs, I think that makes you that much more dangerous. So I agree, man. I picked San Antonio in seven. But if the Knicks get game two in San Antonio, man, you might as well get a broom and put it on that wall, get ready for game three, because it's possible. As we've been seeing what the Knicks been doing. They on record breaking things in this playoffs. And teams is doing what they're doing have won the NBA championship.
Randy Frere, I'm sorry, my man, if I butchered your last name, 4370. We really appreciate your comments, man, and we appreciate you being here. Keep the questions and comments coming. You got anything on that, Rob? My bad. No.
No.
All right, let's move on. Now I'm gonna start with you on this one, Moss. Where do you believe Brunson ranks amongst the best players in the NBA as of right now?
Oh man, this is tough. We just it's something because we just spoke on it, and I said that Wimby took it from Shaw. We watch how Shy was the man on the mountain. We watch how Wemby became this man on the mountain, and now we watching Brunson take it from him. He just did it in San Antonio, so I got to go. Brunson is top 10 in the NBA respectively. Now I think you have to give him his credit, his due. He's not just taking his team to the playoffs multiple years; he's getting them to milestones they haven't reached in decades. So I'm going with Brunson, top 10 in the NBA. We had to look at this list at the end of the season, but I'm going to put Brunson in that 10.
What you say, Rob?
Man, Brunson is good. He is good. But, man, you could probably ramble off about 15 guys, man, that you would probably be like, is he better than this guy? Nope. Is he better than that guy? Nope. I think his stature and his size probably does him a disservice in this conversation about one of the best players in the NBA. If he was 6'5", 6'6", we would definitely be saying this guy is top 5, right? But the fact that he's a smaller guy is kind of hard to compare him with these big dudes who we see doing all of this stuff. And so, man, I think he's top 15, but he plays like he's top 5, though. He just don't have the size to allow you to put him there because of these other big dudes who was doing what they doing. You just can't put him ahead of them. But Brunson, I think the way he's been playing in the playoffs the last 2 years and the regular season, he's definitely top 5. I just wish he was a little bigger.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I knew Brunson was a baller coming in, but like I said earlier, to do that on this stage with everything on the line, game 1 on the road against the Spurs, who I think everybody overwhelmingly picked in this series, that was poetry in motion. I love to see guys. See, people think that like clutch play is like 3 seconds left and you hit a shot to win the game. That's clutch. But me, I like 3, 4, 5 minutes to left in the game. The game is in balance. Y'all trading blows, and you take over those last couple minutes of a game. To me, that speaks volume. And I know Brunson is a smaller guy, but if he captures an NBA championship, in my opinion, going into next season, he's the first point guard off the board for me, which means he'll be top 5 then. Ooh. Any closing thoughts for y'all on this? No.
I like the fact that you said that real quick with the last few minutes, like, that crunch time. I think me and you the same way, because that's one point, in the fourth quarter, you look at that moment, okay, it's 12 minutes. Okay, then it's 8 minutes. All right, I'm looking for 6.5. What's going on from 6.5 on out? What key moments? In Brunson, he hit free throws. He hits a jump shot. He gets to the lane. He steps up and plays defense, which is something that everybody been questioning over these years. So, like you said, I think, and we talked about it, if he's able to dethrone Wemby, and when I say dethrone Wemby, because right now Wemby's the face of the NBA, that's how I feel. But if Brunson and this New York team win, you got to put Brunson as the man of the NBA. You got to put him as the face right now, because he's been through what it takes to get to this point, and he's proven it. And getting that Knicks team a title, man, he gonna have not just the keys to New York. He might have keys to many cities and states, man. This is major. This is iconic, and what this Knicks team is doing right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm gonna start with you on this, Rob. What would the Spurs have to do to avoid going down 0-2 headed to New York?
I think they're definitely going to play a little bit more physical, a little bit more athletic in this next game. They were able to put the Knicks in some situations where they were leaving guys wide open, and those guys was knocking down their shots. I think in the second half they sort of, just got outplayed. I think what the Spurs will end up doing is handling that pick and roll a little bit better than what they did in game one. And I think the coach will understand that, listen, I gotta put Harper on the court, bro. I can't leave Harper on the
Yeah.
sideline for older DeAndre Fox. Yeah, DeAndre Fox got the experience, but he is not a better basketball player than the young Harper kid. And he was playing lights out in the beginning of that game. And then you keep Fox in for these stretches and not Harper. I think that was a huge mistake. And I don't think their coach will make that same mistake. And we all know Wemby in a game after a loss, Wemby plays totally better than what he did in the game before. So I expect Wemby to play a lot better. I expect him to play the pick and roll better, and I expect Harper to get more time than Fox.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. Mossberg, what you got on this?
I I agree, man. You know, Harp is my guy, man. I know One Take Zay kind of got me hip to him. He spoke about him on a college season, him and Ace Bailey over at Rutgers, and I really started to watch this young kid, man. I'm loving him like no other. He's one of my guys, man. And if they don't give this guy the keys throughout the rest of this series, San Antonio is in trouble. They need to get that young man the keys. His pops got championship experience, and you're not talking about just one win or two title wins. He got multiple championships win, and that's his pops. So the experience is passed on down, and we seeing how great of a player he is. And I think they need to step up on the pick and roll. They need to play it high, coming across that half court because we know how New York want to set it, and they need to force that ball out of Brunson's hand quick to at least make that shot clock move a little faster so that pick and roll take a little time to give San Antonio some depth on that drop, when that comes on the defensive side. But outside of that, I think Hart is the answer to all the questions the Spurs looking for the rest of this series. He's a bad, bad boy.
Do any of y'all think fatigue played a role last night in Wembanyama's performance?
Hmm, that's a
I
good
don't think so.
question.
Because one of the
They
things I
have
was
they
looking
have
at, go ahead, Moss.
Nah, my bad. I think they just had enough rest, but this Knicks team will run. And I noticed that. I personally text you about that post. I thought he was injured, but I've been watching Wimby. I think he is a little tired, man. I think he is a little tired. Just that first postseason, that the the build up, all these things. New York is not just any team. It's not the same fan base as OKC. So it's a lot that's built up into this. So that will take a toll on you when it comes to making sure you get that rest. And they were saying something about it. Wemby won't get no rest in this series because that's just how it is. And then you got to go to New York. So it's going to be even harder to sleep there. They said they not going to let these guys sleep. They outside of the hotels all night. City that never sleeps. I think he is fatigued a little, just a tad.
Yeah, that was one of my concerns going into the game. Like when you go 7 games against Oklahoma City,
Yeah.
and not just the physical strain, but the emotional strain. You see him crying after the win in Game 7. I was wondering if that could possibly have an effect on this series, Game 1 especially. But hey, we'll see if they bounce back in Game 2. Let's move on, man. We'll stick to the NBA, but I got a question for y'all, and I'll start with you, Mossberg. Where do you believe Giannis will end up playing next season? Now, before you answer that question, I think the Miami Heat are the favorite. Some other teams he could end up with, being Boston, Oklahoma City, teams like that. Where do you think Giannis will end up playing?
It's crazy. You know, I, I, man, that's a great question, Post. When you think of Miami, everybody want to go enjoy that great weather, that great water, all the nightlife that you have in Miami. I, I don't know. This is a tough one because we seen him stay in Milwaukee and he said he want to stay in the East. I'm going to say, I'm going to just throw Toronto Raptors out there. Blockbuster trade, Toronto, Miami don't sound bad. I'm going to just throw Toronto out there. A team that nobody seen years ago, and they shocked the world and they got Kawhi. And it brought them something special. So you just don't know what can happen in this NBA. I'm going to say Toronto, Miami being that second team, possibly. I like that pick with you.
What say you, Rob?
Man, that's a really good question, man, because when you think about Giannis and the fact that he's been in the small market in Milwaukee, being the face of that franchise, I'm not sure that he wants to stay in a small market again where he knows it's going to take some valuable pieces in order to be able to win a championship, especially when you're facing such talented teams in the West for a title.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to go to a larger market. I'm going to tell you right now, I wish it was my Philadelphia 76ers. But as long as we got Joel Embiid on the books, that's going to be too hard to do. But I would love to see him in the Sixers uniform. I think he will go really, really well with Maxey and Edgecombe. I think that's his name. How you say his name? I think he will go really, really good with those two. I just don't see him going to a small market. I see Cleveland was thrown out there. I just don't see him going to another small market. I think he want to go somewhere we can have two other guys, still be able to get some good money. But if he goes to Boston, you know, Boston got to give up a piece, man. So I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to just go out on a whim and say my Philadelphia Sixers find some way to make it happen. And he goes to Philadelphia.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, that's a nice pick.
A lot of money involved.
I mean, fellas, if I'm OKC, I'm going to get Giannis. Like, if Giannis wants to win, Oklahoma City is the place to be if it's about winning. You play with a superstar like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I don't think is a selfish superstar at all. I think he'll be willing to let Giannis, you know, play his game in OKC. We know they have draft picks long as Lincoln Way. So it'd be interesting to see, and they don't need them. Like their depth is already crazy. So we'll see what happens. If I'm OKC, I'm trying to make a move for Giannis ASAP. Miami is the favorite. I mean, could you get as much from Miami as you can get from OKC? I don't think so. So we'll see what happens, man. That's something to you got anything, Moss?
Nah, I think that's the biggest thing this offseason, man, Giannis. Like, there's so many possibilities. And like you said, I think that OKC, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. But I think it makes sense and make the right amount of dollars because you earn a lot of them when you win titles. And I think if we see him go to OKC, we know what could possibly happen. The only man I think that could physically and inch for inch, even with inches over him, match up with Wemby.
Okay. I agree with that point. I think getting Giannis over in the West with OKC, that would be big trouble for any other team. That's for sure. But fellas, man, if you don't got anything else, I wanna switch over to the NFL. So a lot of trades been happening, and the big one is this one. And I'll start with you on this one, Rob. What kind of impact do you think Myles Garrett will have on the Rams?
I mean, we saw what kind of motor he had with the Cleveland Browns, which I'm quite sure he knew the Cleveland Browns wasn't going anywhere. Now you had a contender, and the Rams were on the cusp of making it to the Super Bowl. They just happened to lose to the eventual Super Bowl champs. he's going to be licking his chops because I guarantee you he feels like now I'm on this team. I was probably the piece they was missing to make it there. He's going to be licking his chops, and you're going to see Myles Garrett has such an effect on that Rams roster that they're going to go from already being high confident wise to being to the ultimate confident wise. And I think he's going to go out there and ball out. I think he's going to ball out, man. And I think he's excited for this opportunity to finally have a chance to contend for a Super Bowl with a team that has a coaching staff and has veteran players that's really going to make it quite easy for him. Because if you look at the Rams' 2 defensive tackles and the depth they have there, those guys command double teams, which allows Myles Garrett, who you never want to be singled up on no tackle, he's going to have one-on-ones a lot. And that means quarterbacks are going to end up on their back. He might break his sack record again.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, I don't disagree with nothing you just said. It's going to be a crazy season for those Rams. Mossberg, what kind of impact do you think Myles Garrett will have for the Rams?
I think Unc just said it best. And when he said licking his chops, I started thinking about lamb chops. And by the end, it was like free lunch. He gonna be out there. It's like free lunch, man. He out there like a kid. And like Unc said, he could do what he do. He could get that free lunch. He could open that sandwich. He could get that juicy out, go on the sideline that I'm talking about right now. Get his Gatorade, get right and get back in. Do what he do. And I think when you talk about breaking that sack record, I was thinking we're going to see things that we haven't seen from Myles Garrett. We about to see a different duffel bag that he has in his arsenal. He's going to L.A. over there with one of his buddies. And it's your goat, King James, one of his guys he works out with in the summer. I think they're going to link up and have something to say when it's all said and done. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a major factor with what he's doing with a team that's competitive and can win it all now.
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all just said. I do believe this is the missing piece for the Rams in order to win a Super Bowl. I love what they have on offense. I extremely like what they got on defense now. Those teams in their division, San Francisco, Seattle, and Arizona, now it's like there's nothing you can do to stop Myles Garrett. So you better get first downs before 3rd and long or 3rd and distance, whatever the case may be, because Myles Garrett is coming. And I think this was a genius move because I thought that I don't want to say they made a mistake taking the quarterback from Alabama that early, but I thought they could have went another direction to really enhance their chance to win a Super Bowl. But getting Myles Garrett from Cleveland, bruh, this was A+. This is cash money in the bank. Big move for the Rams. And I'm excited to see how their season unfolds. Any closing thoughts on this, fellas? No? Mossberg, do you like this deal for the Browns?
You talking about that Seminole. You talking about first name Jared. That's a bad boy. I like this trade, Post. I think you getting a player in Myles Garrett that went to the Rams that's left, but then you get Verse, a young athletic who's increasing by the year. People forget what he's done in his college career coming into NFL. I believe he's already got him a Defensive Player of the Year award, not to mention all his accolades. But my guy, Verse, I think he's going to be a special talent. And no disrespect to Myles Garrett and what he's been for Cleveland. He's been the best thing smoking since he put on a jersey in Cleveland. But Cleveland have not got nothing done in those years. Respectively, I think Jared Verse comes in, changes that. Cleveland Browns getting their offense together. I think they'll make a playoff run. in these years of having verse, and you go back and you think about it. Did the Rams get one in those few years? Did the Cleveland Browns elevate? This is something to look at. I love verse being in Cleveland. I want to definitely get there and see this man, one of my Seminoles. And I think he's just a load waiting to unleash this coming season and doubt the naysayers. Everybody think the trade was a bad trade. Why they trade for Verse? If you really go watch this young talent in Jared Verse, man, he's special. I think you got a young Myles Garrett back in Cleveland with a little experience and a rookie of the year on his belt and more.
So you saying Myles Garrett was the reason Cleveland didn't win? Because you just said
no, I'm not saying that at all. No, what I'm referring to is his greatness. Was it helping Cleveland? At the end of the day, now that we look on it, his greatness was him. He was great. But at the end of the day, their offense. So with them making these changes, I think at the right time, he's going out towards the end of his time in his career. And I think he deserves not to get traded for some picks, but for this player in Verse and those picks for him to go to the organization he's going to. I think it's a win-win on both sides. I think you're talking about one of the greatest to play the game. Myles Garrett is special. Nothing against him at all. I'm saying this in regards to Cleveland. You're getting another one in Verse. Find your offense. Find it fast. You got to do something this time around because we don't want to sit back and look at this like, wow, the same Browns team with a great defensive end 10 years later. And I think this could possibly be something that changed and having Verse, as Myles Garrett is going away, but in a potential to get him a title with Rams as we see.
What you think, Rob?
I like this trade for the Browns. I think the Browns were really smart right here. Finally, the Browns did something that was smart because really the writing was on the wall. Myles Garrett wanted out of Cleveland the year before. They signed him to this mega contract. He goes, he wins the sack title, but we already know that Myles Garrett was already had 1 foot out the door. He was ready to go be a photographer, bro, because he had already really accomplished everything he could possibly accomplish at Cleveland, and he knew Cleveland was probably not going to win a Super Bowl with him on the books and not being able to get some of those pieces. So he went somewhere where he could possibly get him a Super Bowl, probably play maybe 2 or 3 more years, and he was going to be out anyway. I think it was a brilliant move for the Browns. Get him off the books, get a younger guy who's only in year 3, who got a high upside, and also you got picks on top of it that's going to even further help the Cleveland Browns. We've been used to them doing boneheaded stuff since we've been watching them play. And this move right here, when you first look at it, Myles Garrett gets traded, you thinking, what the hell are the Browns doing? But then when you get to see everything that transpired, the deal, how it went down, the players, the picks, all of that, you say, oh man, the Browns had a really good move right there. That's a really smart move to go ahead and off him. I like it for the Browns, and I feel like the Browns understood that, listen, we got to get younger for one, and we got to stockpile some picks because eventually we got to be in a position to win this division, and we're already facing freaking Joe Burrow and that wide receiver crew they got, and we're facing Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens is one of the best organizations in the NFL, along with the Steelers. So you have to get better if you're ever going to be able to compete, because the Browns have some of the greatest fans in the NFL. Their fans are going to come and pack the stadium, but they want them also to be good. And I think the Browns made a really good move right there by sending Myles Garrett, getting Verse, and those picks. I love the move.
Yeah, I agree with y'all. I love the move myself. You guys, of course, make really good points, but I think the Browns wrote sevens for Myles Garrett. And I know y'all explained it some, but I'm gonna piggyback off that. The Browns aren't going to win anything in the next few years. They're in rebuild mode. They're gathering assets. They're building their defense around young players, and they got a really good young player in Jared Verse. Good move. Um, but sending him to a Super Bowl contending team, I think that was them showing Miles their appreciation for what he's done for that organization through the years. His sack totals, him being a great teammate and a good ambassador for the NFL. I love this move for the Browns. Again, they get draft capital and a very good young player in Verse to add along with Mason Graham, who they drafted, or was it last year before last? Uh, I think that's
Bro.
two very good defensive linemen to build that defense around. Even having Denzel Ward and drafting McNeil Warren in this year's past draft, so they got some pieces. They're getting younger. Miles Garrett is in the last few years of his career, put him in a position to go out with an NFL championship. So I love this deal for the Browns as well. Any closing thoughts, fellas? No. Okay.
Shout out
Now,
to the Browns, man, and the organization.
for sure. Now,
That's it.
now
I mean,
here's
that's it. I
something.
mean, I just say that because of what they've been doing within the draft. That's it.
Yeah, no doubt. Now here's something that's been floating around, fellas. And Moss, I'll start with you on this one. Do you believe this deal pulls Aaron Donald out of retirement?
Man, I I agree. I think it does, man. It's very, very possible. We know how close those two are. We know they've worked out. They've spent summers together. They're like brothers. Um, I think it's very possible, man, for him to come out of retirement, try to run this thing back, and I think we looking at that 2022 Super Bowl matchup all over again. But Burrow gonna be going against a different quarterback, I think, in LA this time around. So I'm looking forward to it if it happens, seeing him come out of retirement, playing with Miles Garrett. I think it'll be something that we all would love to see. Two defensive ends, we always talk about it. It would be special for the NFL and seeing all these high octane offenses going against a stout defensive end, Hall of Fame's, when it's coming at you. So I would love to see it, but it's possible. I'm gonna say 50-50 right now for me. 50-50.
So at age 35, you think Aaron Donald is going to come out of retirement to play the defensive tackle position at age 35?
I've been watching Aaron Donald's workouts and what he still be doing. That guy's still chiseled. I think he could still get out there and play right now.
Okay. Rob, what you got on this?
No way in hell. Listen, man, listen. Aaron Donald is in the company of Barry Sanders, Megatron, Patrick Willis, dudes who left NFL football in perfect health. You won a Super Bowl. Now, those other two guys didn't. But, man, listen, he has no reason to come back and prove anything to the NFL. NFL players at that age only come back for two reasons: money and health insurance. And he don't need neither one of them, bro. He's already taking care of his body. He's already in great shape. He got plenty of bread. He is not coming back. Who the hell will retire for a couple of years and want to come back and do a grueling NFL season workouts and all of that crap after retiring for 2 years and living a good life? Man, nobody wants to do that. I guarantee you Barry Sanders called him and said, bro, quit tripping. I know you're doing that for clicks and giggles. Patrick Willis calling him too. Listen, man, I know you're doing that for clicks and giggles. Megatron calling it too. Yeah, man, I know you're doing that for clicks and giggles. He is not coming back, bro. It's just for good media hype.
Man.
Listen, I don't think he comes back. But if he's going to, it would be now. I wish this would have happened 2 years ago. How long has he been retired? Anybody know off top? Is it 3 years?
2 or 3 years. 2 or 3.
2 or 3 years. 3.
Okay. I wish this would have happened, when he was pondering whether he was going to retire or not. Getting a player like this to play with on that defensive line. Because if Aaron Donald is looking at this team, okay, he's been out for 2 or 3 years. He still stays in shape, even though he is 35 years old and plays a brutal position like defensive tackle. When you look at this team, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua on offense, and then a chance to play with another Hall of Famer and Myles Garrett, that's going to be extremely tempting for Aaron Donald. And it gives him a lot to think about, because I do think this is a Super Bowl type team they have assembled. But ultimately, I don't think he's going to come back into the NFL. But if he was, it's now. And that's for sure. Y'all got anything else on this?
Don't do it, Aaron Donald. Don't do it.
We all licking our chops on this one, hoping he come out, pop out, and do something spectacular, man.
For sure. Because I mean, that's just that's nuts to think about. Like Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett on the defensive line together. Like, who wouldn't want to see that?
We got Fisk on that line too. That'll be ferocious, bro.
Yeah.
It could get ugly fast.
Yeah. Because there's no double teaming. You can't double team them both.
Yeah.
Bro,
somebody gonna be free out of the 3 all day.
That's for sure. So there was another trade, another big trade. I don't think we had an opportunity to talk about, but the Philadelphia Eagles, as expected, traded AJ Brown to the Patriots. Rob, what kind of impact will AJ Brown have for the Patriots this upcoming season?
I think AJ Brown gets a bad rap, man, because people, say things about him when it comes to the locker room and his sideline presence and stuff like that. I think AJ Brown is an excellent football player. I think he's a really good person too. I think he's going to really help that Patriots team. I think he's at a point in his career where he wants to go out on a high note. I think his career is going to end with the Patriots, unless he's one of those guys who just want to keep on stacking a couple more dollars and ride somebody's bench or be a fourth or fifth option or something, which I don't think he would do, the kind of player he is. I think he's going to really help that locker room. I think he still has some left in the tank, at least a couple of more years. I think he's going to help Drake May on that team. I really like the move. And I think that was a good move for them to go after a veteran wide receiver to help them out. And I think AJ Brown understands the position he is in later on in his career. He's probably going to go in there close to wide receiver 1. And kudos to him. I think they made a good choice by sending him to the Patriots, who made it to the Super Bowl, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Rob. Mossberg, what do you got on this? What kind of impact will AJ Brown have for the Patriots this upcoming season?
It's crazy to say, I think for when people listening, they'd be like, what you mean major impact with the Patriots just getting to the Super Bowl? When I say major impact, Randy Moss coming, got him a Super Bowl. This gives me that type of vibe with Drake May having a weapon, a major weapon. Drake May could get rid of that ball. He could spin that thing, as Parlay Po say. And I think their offense goes into another they go into a whole nother level. You're able to do so many more things on the offensive side now that you have that target that you have to double team. You're not going to be able to just play the Patriots and man up and do all these different type of blitzes. Have May confused. May has a target and he know it's going to take two, so he could do his thing in that pocket, find other receivers, maybe get some scrambling yards. I think and take this New England Patriots team on the offensive side to another level. We know what they could do on the defensive side as well, as they were just like you said in the Super Bowl this past season. So I think it was a great move. Like you said, he ended his career here, but I think he's a misunderstood wide receiver that has great talent. Great talent.
Yes, sir. I think this was an excellent move as well. The thing that works out for AJ Brown is he goes from one of the uh lower tier passing teams in the NFL to a top 5 passing team in the NFL. Drake May wants to get the ball downfield. They want to run the ball, but they do a good job of being balanced and passing the ball as well. And I think pairing him with AJ Brown was a no brainer. It was a great move. AJ gets to be featured in an offense where he's the one and he knows he's going to get volume. I think they picked up another receiver from Green Bay, excuse me, but there's no question that AJ will be the one in New England. So I like this move for a young quarterback. I know he had a lot of success, but now he has his number one receiver. So to add with Romeo Dobbs, that's the wide receiver they got from Green Bay. So I love this move. Uh, when you look at Philadelphia, I don't think Makai Lemon is the type of wide receiver AJ Brown is. Makai Lemon, I'm pretty sure he'll operate in the slot mainly, but I think uh, the other wide receiver, Devontae Smith for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think he has a real good chance now that he's the true number one in Philadelphia to explode. He won't have the same volume that an AJ Brown will have in New England, but he'll definitely get the opportunities to put up big numbers. Any closing thoughts on this move, fellas?
Man,
Another thing about AJ Brown too, though,
I
is
would
the
say
fact
go.
that he's a chain mover, man. He's a guy on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 that he could just body up that DB and keep them chains moving, which when you got that option can open up your run game when you got a guy like Henderson who can go the distance or get the ball out the backfield. All those things open up for your offense when you got a wide receiver like AJ Brown, who is so effective on the third and short distances, catching the ball with his big body.
Yeah.
You have something to add,
I would
Mos?
say just go check out Drake May. Yeah, I would just say check out Drake May from year one to when he got selected in that NFL draft. He's doing almost a repeat at the next level. And now to get these two impact receivers after going to the Super Bowl, watch out, NFL. This boy Drake may go in the early season and continue this tear throughout the season, having weapons like this. And I'm gonna say weapons of mass destruction because you don't get two receivers like that. And we know Romeo, oh, where thou Romeo, through the injury, he could still be a one anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree, man. I love what kind of receivers Drake May will be throwing to this upcoming season. And it's funny because he was an MVP candidate last season. So I'm interested to see how he plays with better weapons this season. So that's all the NFL talk I got for y'all. If you're in the chat, please smash that like button for us. It helps us out tremendously. Subscribe to the channel, whatever channel you watching this on. Subscribe to it. You will not be disappointed. We working over here. So
Yes, indeed.
my last question, um, on the docket. I want to go to the WNBA. The season is still relatively young. I think they played maybe just under 10 games, but exciting start. Now, I'm gonna start with you on this, Moss. Who's the best team in the WNBA you've seen thus far?
Man, it's been a couple teams I've seen, but I've seen most this Golden State Valkyrie squad post. Me and you was talking when they had that overtime game. I think it was a double overtime against Indy. I've been watching this team. People forget they're coming in as an expansion team still early in their years. I think they're a problem. They're fourth in the West, 6-3. They're in in that Commissioner's Cup, and they playing at Minnesota tonight at 9 o'clock. So I think this is a testimonial game. And when I say testimonial, testing the strength of not just the team, but I think this franchise. When you talk about Gabby Williams, you talk about a Veronica Burton who's definitely changed the culture coming over to this team, averaging 14. I mean, you're talking about a point guard. Lisa Pinachero, when you think of these point guards, you think of her. She averaged around the same type of stats, but her assist was higher. And that's the thing I've seen Burton get better at this year is passing that ball, elevating her game from that, and just getting a big win after taking a loss against Indiana. She came back, played very well the second time around, playing 25, getting 5 blocks, multiple assists. So I've been watching this Golden State team. Veronica, the leader of Gabby Williams, we know what she's been doing since coming back and playing in the WNBA. So I think this is a team you got to definitely keep your eye on and watch because they could get wild out in that West with this WNBA, as we've been seeing in this early season this year as well.
Yeah, that's really good stuff, Moss. They're actually tied with the Aces for second place. Rob, what you got on this, man? Who's been the best team you've seen thus far?
I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Dream. I think the fact that they got Pretty Brown rebound in the trade or to come to their team. I think right now all the pieces that they got that are new to this team, they gel the quickest. And not that they're going to be the best team in the end, but to start this thing off, I think they really gel faster than anybody else who has added new parts to their team. I really like the way Angel Reese is playing right now. Her stats might not be any different than they have been the last two seasons, but you see a much better basketball player in Angel Reese than you've seen in her first 2 seasons. I think she's starting to understand the game a little bit better. She knows how to pick her situations and her spots, and I think she's been playing really, really well. She's been averaging a double double like she's done her whole entire career. But I think that the thing that she has done is she hasn't been so sort of clumsy at times, to where she doesn't gather herself and she don't have good feet and balance sometimes on her offensive shots. I think she's corrected some of that. She need to leave that three ball alone though. She don't need to take none of them. Go down there in that paint and work and get rebounds. And she's actually passing the ball better than what she has in the first 2 seasons. So I'm going to go with this Atlanta Dream team right now because I think they gel faster than anybody else when it comes to the new pieces that they added.
Yeah, y'all both make outstanding points. I'm with Rob on this one, right? And he just knocked down pretty much what I was talking about before the season started. Now, here's the thing about the Dream. Angel Reese is playing the five. Brianna Jones has been out. She hasn't played 1 minute. Their starting center hasn't played 1 second this season. She got injured in the offseason or before the season started. Don't know when she's coming back. So Angel Reese has had to slide to the five position. And I think she's really playing well. I think she mixes in well with this group. The chemistry, as Rob was saying, is there. They've gelled. But just to have Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, Jordan Canada, those are some of the three best guards in the W. And then you add an Angel Reese. No Brianna Jones. Like I said, she hasn't played a second. I believe Atlanta is the best team right now. I know they're in a battle currently against the Fever in the Cup. But the team that's impressed me most has definitely been the Atlanta Dream. So I'm with Rob on that. Now I'm gonna say this: the most shocking team to me has been the Lynx in out west. They're first in the
Yeah.
West right now without their best
Yeah.
player. So drafting Olivia Miles, I think Olivia Miles should have went first, but she slides to the Lynx. The Lynx, what Olivia Miles has been doing to start the season, I think she's a lot for Rookie of the Year. But man, everything I've been telling the people about Olivia Miles is starting to come to fruition. The Lynx have been extremely impressive without their best player playing a second this season yet. So out east, I'm gonna say Atlanta. Out
Yeah.
west, Lynx. And when they get their best player back, they're going to be a really scary team to deal with. Any closing thoughts on that, fellas?
When you say their best player, the people do. If they don't know, we talking to Fisher Collier, one of the
Keisha
goats right now in the WNBA. Collar, like she's. I mean, for like you said, Post. This team is special, and that's why I looked at this game with Golden State playing at Minnesota tonight, because I know how great of a team this Minnesota team is. But if Golden State could get this Commissioner's Cup win tonight, I think it shows a lot at on where they are at this point in the season. Even though it's early, as we've been seeing this WNBA this season, it seemed like it's in a way of a playoff at different points in the games that's played. But from here on out, I think every game means that much and some. As we've been seeing teams get better and better, and some teams just stepping up. As we speaking on this Minnesota team as well, without their superstars.
100%, man. I mean, if you don't watch the W, I encourage you tonight to catch a couple of games this season. You might like what you see. Y'all got
Sure.
anything before we get up out of here, fellas? Y'all got anything?
Well, you know what? My Texas Longhorn softball women are playing Texas Tech, and we know what this beef has been going on back and forth between the Texas Longhorns and the Texas Tech team. So hopefully Texas won yesterday. Hopefully they can win again the next game, which I think is today, and in this series and win back-to-back women's softball titles. Light up the big old dome on the big tower, and let's go celebrate another national title for my Texas Longhorns. I don't want to jinx them, but I hope that they can pull it out. My man SEC Sean said it's 0-0 right now. That's a good sign, because as long as they're not losing, they got a chance to win. And I hope that they can pull it out and win this thing, man, and light the tower up and get another back-to-back, that is, national title in softball.
For sure. Let me ask you real quick, man, because I know you probably gonna cook on this on Saturday. But do you just a short answer? Do you think what's his name? Do you think Nick Saban should be spearheading college football talks when it comes to him having meetings in Washington, D.C.? Do you think he should be the one spearheading those talks?
I mean, I definitely do think Nick Saban should be spearheading, because, I mean, listen, he's been on both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? He's won like crazy. We know that, Alabama was giving players money. We know that. Everybody was. But I think Nick Saban is a really reasonable human being. He loves college football. I think that he should be. Now, I think that if you've got Matt Brown or Rick Neuheisel, maybe out of those two guys, you might put them ahead of Nick Saban because of the way they conduct themselves. But I think Nick Saban is a really good guy for that position as well. I mean, anybody who says he's not is probably because he was dogging a team when he was coaching.
Yeah.
What you think, Rob?
Agreed, man.
Moss, what you think? You think Nick Saban should be spearheading this?
I definitely agree, man. I think when you think of college football, you don't mention college football without Nick Saban. Nick Saban is college football. Stamp that.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we
My
appreciate y'all
thoughts.
joining us. Go ahead.
No, you
Ladies
good.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all joining us tonight. Please like and subscribe. Turn on your notification bell so you know when we come in with that heat for y'all. For Rob of WTP Sports Dudes, for Mossberg of Level of Sports 10, and for Postgame, myself of Postgame Sports, we are out of here. Peace.